It is Thursday, May 16th. Here's what we're working on this morning. The group behind Hamilton's FirstOntario Centre renovation set to break ground this morning.
A man is injured after a helicopter crash at the Burlington Air Park.
And Nicolas Cage is back in his role as Spider-Man Noir in a live-action Amazon series. Good morning. The sun is up already. It's
yes.
so nice. I was
beautiful start.
I was out in the canteen, Brian, fixing my tea.
Yes.
My second today. And I'm like, oh, it's so nice and bright already.
You're on the tea number 2 by the time the show starts?
Yeah. Tea number 1 is microwaved a number of times before I finally finish it.
Yeah, that's what happens. And as I was making my tea this morning, gave it a slurp and went, best cup of tea ever. But of course, I say that every morning.
Yes. So the first one is always the best.
That's right. Oh, it's delicious. Yeah, and we have a delicious start to the morning here because as you're right, the sun is up and we are going to see the sunshine for the day today. A mix of sun and clouds and a 21-degree high. So above seasonal, better than we got to yesterday, and enjoy the sunshine today because it looks like we're going to get back into clouds. And I know more showers. Everybody's saying, come on, enough with the showers already. Everything's green. We can use some sunshine. So we'll get the sun today. Temperature right now is fluctuating a bit. It was 11, bumped up to 12. Now it's bumped back to 11. And fairly foggy. Fog patches in the area. Be careful. All right, looking at traffic this morning. Nothing there. 403 Waterdown Road still moving nicely. No collisions to talk about. Just a couple of MTO traffic cameras starting at Nikola Tesla Boulevard, Toronto bound away from us toward the Skyway. Same here on the other side of the Skyway. We do have a visual distraction. Nope, it just ended. It just pulled away. We had a disabled vehicle on the ramp to Burl Oak, but that is now gone. So things are moving nicely through here. Weather and traffic, of course, coming up in a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Okay, thanks very much. All big news in downtown Hamilton today. Major renovations of FirstOntario Centre set to officially begin. It'll include a complete revitalization of the venue. Simone Gavros joins us now from Bay and York with more ahead of the groundbreaking ceremony.
Hi, good morning, Annette. Well, you can already see behind me the signs of the construction getting ready to start. There's these concrete walls that are up along Bay Street. There's also fencing that's surrounding the building. But now that the Toronto Rock season is over, construction is going to start ramping up on the inside. Now, construction is going to mainly stay on the inside. We're not going to see much of that on the outside, but this is going to look pretty different starting next year with this nearly $300 million renovation deal. The project is being led by the Oakview Group, known for operating hundreds of concert halls, arenas, and other venues all over the world. Construction is expected to last about 14 months, and I'm told they'll be stripping the whole place down on the inside to start completely fresh. Once it's complete, the 18,000-seat venue will be decked out in premium features, including enhanced acoustics, upgraded concourses, and artist lounges. The goal is to be open by November 2025, and the venue plans to host over 125 events per year, not including sports. Now, coming up, we're going to be speaking with a couple members of the Oakview Group to get more details about the groundbreaking ceremony happening today and what we can expect when the venue is completely open next year. But for now, I'll send things back over to you, Tim.
All right, thanks, Simone. Well, the province says it will bring in legislation that's going to impose tough new penalties on impaired drivers.
It's really about, from the province's side, doing anything and everything we can to ensure that we disincentivize anyone for making such a foolish choice, which is to get behind the wheel while being impaired.
And as Minister of Transportation, Prabmeet Sakaria, that is. So the penalties, they include a lifetime license suspension for drivers convicted of impaired driving causing death. Anyone convicted of impaired driving would be required to install an ignition interlock device and take remedial education. The length of immediate roadside license suspension, that would also be increased.
The firefighters in Niagara Falls spent hours last night knocking down a large fire at a recycling facility in the city's West End. So several people say that there was flames coming from the facility on Kaler Road. The fire department says they were called there just after 10 last night. Crews found a large stack of hundreds of recently crushed vehicles on fire. Nobody was hurt, but the department says they spent hours separating the piles so that they can make sure the fire was completely out. They left at around 4:30 this morning.
Hamilton police are asking for the public's help locating two missing people. The first is 41-year-old Erin Roberts, who is also known as Nicole. She was last seen in the area of Bristol Street and Wentworth Street North, reported missing back on March 30th. She is 5 feet tall, about 90 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes, last seen wearing green sunglasses, a long black coat and brown fur on the hood. So she was also wearing black winter boots and carrying a small black and white checkered suitcase.
Police are also still looking for 31-year-old Robert O'Toole. He was last seen March 23rd in the area of Vine Street in downtown Hamilton. Family and friends are worried about his mental health, noticing there had been a significant decline during their last interaction with him. He is white, about 5'11", 160 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. He may have a beard. There was a helicopter crash at the Burlington Air Park yesterday afternoon. Halton police say they got a call just after 12:30. They say two men were inside the helicopter when it went down. One was taken to hospital with minor injuries. Police say it doesn't appear to be a serious crash. Transport Canada is investigating. The air park was shut down temporarily as crews removed the helicopter from the runway. Well, a stolen ice cream cone piggy bank is on its way back to the Dairy Queen in Waterdown. CHCH News had the scoop on the details earlier this week, and less than 24 hours after that story ran, Dairy Queen says it's in the process of being returned. A woman was caught on surveillance video taking the cone, which contained donations for the company's Blizzard Day fundraiser. Instead of going to police, the owner of the Dairy Queen wanted to give the thief a chance to do the right thing and to return it.
All right, like those stories? Let's get to the sports stories, because then we start on the ice in Minnesota, where PWHL Toronto was trying to book their spot into the final against Boston. They got some bad news earlier in the day yesterday, though. Their star player, Natalie Spooner, out for the rest of the year with an injury suffered in Game 4. And they could have used her, because this game was scoreless as we went into double overtime.
Rock battling. Kruzova takes it again. Out to the point. Now a chance. Jakes. That one flies wide. Liz Shepard's right. Minnesota scores!
Yeah, that's when Claire Buderak jumped on a loose puck in front of the net to knock home the OT winner. The only goal of the game, and now force a fifth and deciding game back in Toronto. So after getting shut out in the first two games, Minnesota goalie Maddie Rooney has stood tall, not allowing a goal in the last two. So it's all going to come down to game number 5 Saturday night at Coca-Cola Coliseum, with a finals berth on the line.
Marchand tried to knock it out, could not. Great move, Makar. Lets it go, he scores! Kale Makar floats one through.
Colorado has life in their series with the Dallas Stars, and they turn to their stars to lead the way, as Kale Makar would score twice. Nathan McKinnon would add a goal and a helper, and we are headed back to the Mile High City for game number 6 after their 5-3 win. Disappointment for Dallas fans, but there was good news for their NBA team against SGA.
Gilgeous Alexander, switch. He's got Gafford. Oh, the blow by and slam! Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, SGA was his usual steady Eddie self in Game 5 of their semifinal series. The Dallas Mavericks series was tied at 2 coming in, and OKC playing on the home court, which they've done well, but despite the 30 points put up by SGA, the guy at the other end was better. Luka Doncic all over the court. He would toss up a couple of beautiful alley-oops, including that one right there, all part of an 11 assist, 10 rebound, 31-point triple-double. Dallas would silence the OKC crowd, winning 104-95. They can eliminate Shea and the Thunder on Saturday.
High fly ball to right. Springer is back. And it's off the top of the wall.
And it's gone. Sure hard to be a Blue Jays fan during the first month and a half of the season. Just when you think they can maybe put it together, things like that happen. Hoping to sweep the shortened series against Baltimore. They end up getting walked off after Jordan Romano was unable to close it out, as Adley Rutschman's 2-run homer in the bottom of the 9th gave the Orioles the 3-2 win. Jays have a day off today before starting a series with Tampa at the Dome tomorrow. And we finish up because Ticats training camp, that continued yesterday with some unfortunate news when it comes to one of their receivers, Justin McGriff, who at 6'6" had a real chance for a starting spot, is back on the suspended list because of an injury. This after an impressive training camp last year ended with a season-ending broken leg after a preseason game with the Argos. And we don't know how serious the injury is, but frustration for a player and a team looking for a break heading into the new season.
10 minutes after 6. 10? Come on, Tim, you got more time for sport. Usually it's 13. You got 3 more minutes to do some sport. All right, 6:10 is the time here on this Thursday morning, 16th of May. We've got some sun, but there's a lot of fog in the area, so be careful driving in this morning. The sun will dissipate with the fog as the day goes on, but 403 Waterdown Road, nothing to see right here, all doing fine. To our MTO traffic cameras, and we'll come around that. There's some fog. Fog advisory in effect right now for the Niagara area, and you can see how hazy it is here at QEW and 7th. Nothing in traffic. Nikola Tesla Boulevard. Getting slow here just east of Brant Street. Haven't heard of a problem, but that doesn't look appropriate for this time of the morning. Getting busy right through there. I'll check into that. Here's the QEW at the Ford plant. That's wide open, and the same here at the QEW in Dixie. So we'll look into that problem around Brant. Let's get to our temperature that we have at the moment. Temperature's been fluctuating. It did go up to 12 a while ago. Now it's come down to 11 again. So 11 right now. Winds are light. Relative humidity right up there at 100%. So we do have some haze in the atmosphere, a little bit of fog in the area. So today, 21 degrees. Pretty nice May day. A mix of sun and clouds, high UV index, and some light winds. So what we have is a low pressure system to the east and a frontal boundary to the west. So we're in between that, and we'll get that sunshine for the day today. However, tomorrow we're looking at the clouds to encroach when showers start to push in once again as that low and the frontal boundary go by us. And unfortunately, it's going to stick around for Saturday as well. So today, enjoy the sunshine. Temperatures anywhere from 21 to 20 to even 24 for Cayuga Simcoe. So looking at some sun, Guelph and Kitchener could get a shower later in the day. Tonight, fog patches will develop once again. Temperatures anywhere from 11 to 12 degrees tonight. Just a few clouds, but ground fog forming. And then tomorrow, temperatures a little bit cooler with the cloud cover. Temperatures 19 to 20. 22 for Cayuga and Simcoe, and there's that. It's about a 40% chance of a shower as the day progresses. So 16th of May, out the door. It is partly cloudy at the moment. That's the sky, but we do have ground fog, and temperature right now is 11. Long range coming up. Annette, Tim.
Ground fog day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
I love that.
There you go.
Okay, say good morning to Emily. What you got coming up?
Good morning. Well, because we didn't get to it yesterday because I was just so busy, I do want to talk about Nicolas Cage as the new Spider-Man because it's kind of dark and kind of twisted and kind of weird. We also chat with Ringo Starr. He chatted with us yesterday here at CHCH, going to be performing in the area, so we'll discuss all of those details.
Okay. Not familiar with this Ringo Starr, so look forward to the interview.
Yeah, it should be good. Yeah, we'll learn a lot.
You'll know his music once you hear it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It's a familiar tune.
Hey.
All right. We'll see you at the couch in a little bit. Coming up after the break.
Ontario is changing WSIB rules for migrant workers, while 2 of Canada's coasts are pushing back against fish farms. The details coming up in Business News. Canadian dollar is down 11 basis points this morning to 73.4 cents U.S. Gold has lost $4.90. Crude has dropped just 4 cents to $78.12 a barrel. Checking midday trading in Europe, markets are down in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
Off to Asia we go. Markets are up in Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. Off to the North American markets, some big gains, specifically on Wall Street. Dow Jones up 350, NASDAQ up 231. Some slight gains for the TSX on Bay Street. Let's see how they do on this Thursday, May the 16th.
The Ontario government is revamping how it compensates seasonal farm workers who are injured on the job, but critics say thousands of other migrant workers are being left out of the changes. So WSIB pays workers 85% of their salary if they're injured and can't return to their job. If they find other employment, some of those funds are clawed back. The board says it's not fair that once migrant workers return to their home countries, they usually earn far less than they would here. Right now, they're only entitled to 12 weeks compensation. A WSIB tribunal says that's unfair and will be changed, and long-term benefits will be based on a person's earning potential in their home country.
A BC First Nation says it is relaunching legal action against Canada's salmon farm policy after losing faith in the government to remove open net pen fish farms by next year. Namji's First Nation councillor, Kelly Speck, says the decision comes as the nation believes time is running out to protect wild salmon. Now, Speck says their court application was put on hold back in 2021 after Prime Minister Justin Trudeau directed the Fisheries Department to transition away from those farms in BC by 2025. Now, the nation says they're no longer optimistic that's going to happen. The judicial review will challenge the Fisheries Department policy of not testing salmon for a certain virus before stocking the farms.
And on the East Coast, a new study shows an Atlantic salmon population in southern Newfoundland is disappearing. 8 researchers from the Federal Fisheries Department wrote this report. It finds that nearby aquaculture operations are likely to blame. Those impacts include escaped farmed salmon breeding with wild salmon. That results in weaker offspring and genetic defects. They say that as Newfoundland plans to expand its fish farm industry, more studies are needed to figure out how climate change, sea lice, and disease will impact threatened or endangered wild salmon.
The National Music Publishers Association is taking on streaming giant Spotify. So they've sent a cease and desist letter accusing Spotify of hosting content, including music videos, without having the proper licenses. So officials at the NMPA are demanding Spotify remove the unlicensed material or, quote, face copyright liability for continued use of these works. A Spotify spokesperson called the cease and desist letter, quotes, a press stunt filled with false and misleading claims. This all comes a few days after Billboard estimated that Spotify would pay roughly $150 million less in royalties than what some songwriters and publishers had expected.
Netflix scored a big-ticket touchdown with the NFL. The streaming service has announced a 3-year partnership with the National Football League to broadcast the Christmas Day games live. This year, Netflix will air 2 holiday games on December 25th. In 2025 and 26, it'll stream at least 1. Financial terms haven't been disclosed. The NFL already partners with most streaming platforms, including Thursday night games on Amazon and Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV.
NBA Commissioner Adam Silver is like, that was our day. Not anymore. Apple is rolling out new updates later this year to make its mobile devices easier for people with disabilities to use. So one of the new features, it's called eye tracking. Devices will use their cameras to track eye movements, and AI will translate them into on-screen movement. So Apple says they also have a new system that can help people use devices in moving vehicles without getting motion sickness. And devices will be able to use machine learning to recognize unique speech patterns. That should make it easier to use voice shortcuts for people who have trouble talking.
Okay, that's interesting because when I use the phone in the vehicle, of course, only when I'm a passenger.
Do we believe her?
No, but I can't look at a phone if I'm a passenger because I get motion sickness. Like I can't look down and read something.
Right. It's interesting. I'm driving a vehicle now that doesn't have that, so you can't use, like, it's just weird because you're used to your cars just being connected to the car.
Yeah.
And I have a loaner right now, so it's weird not being able to talk on the phone.
Okay.
Just sit in silence.
Sit in silence.
On my way home.
Talk to yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, we're taking a break right now.
Don't want to do that. There's a lot going on in there.
Brian's going to talk to us about traffic and your 7-day forecast coming up.
6:23, good morning. Let's go right to the problem that I mentioned that I thought we probably had a problem around Brant Street, and yes, we do. This is the collision just east of Brant Street. So you're trying to get toward Guelph Line in the distance. You know, a couple of vehicles. We have looks like a dump truck and a passenger vehicle involved in this collision. OPP have just arrived, and you're also noticing a black piece of debris on the right shoulder. That was in the middle of the highway, and everybody had to dodge around it, so it was causing a real slowdown. It looked like when it was in the middle of the highway, it's the entire front end bumper assembly of that vehicle that came off. So the vehicle and the dump truck a little further along are both off to the side, but emergency crews are there, and of course now it's a visual distraction. The ramp lane is now blocked from Brand Street. So that's the only problem that we have at the moment. Otherwise, it's just some building volume around. And notice that sunshine. We have the sunshine here this morning. That's in your eyes as you head toward the east. Temperature 11 degrees all the way around. Hamilton, Grimsby, Mississauga, Toronto. Seasonals now for this time of year for an overnight low, 8 degrees. So we're above seasonal. 19 for the daytime high. That's where we got to yesterday, 19 degrees. Today we should hit 21. Those are our sun times and records for the day. And for school today, we should be 15 for the first bell, heading in with some sun, and 21 for after school. So a pretty nice May day. So enjoy today, because after that, well, you know. 12 degrees overnight, and we'll get some more fog patches developing. Tomorrow, 19. Chance of showers. Saturday, again, chance of showers and pretty gray, 21. Pretty cloudy on Sunday now, and 22. But at least for Victoria Day on Monday, we get some sunshine and 24 before we get back to chance of showers Tuesday. That's your forecast. Annette, Jim.
Okay, thanks, Brian.
Let's all just sit for a moment while we read this story. South Korea hosting a competition on Serenity. There's no running, jumping, or physical activity of any kind. You just sit and you space out.
I think, especially here in Korea, it's such a competitive country where people think that if they do nothing, that they are a little behind. So I think everyone has to have their own pace and sometimes just slow down.
So that's the winner of this year's event, a freelance broadcaster working several jobs. She took the top spot in Korea's 10th annual Space Out competition. The rules, pretty straightforward. Contestants just have to sit and zone out for 90 minutes without falling asleep or checking their phones. The winner is determined based on audience votes and competitors' heart rates. This year, more than 4,000 people applied to participate in the competition from all walks of life. They say it overturns the social convention that spacing out is a waste of time in today's busy society, and it turns into a valuable activity.
It's good to be bored.
How would you do?
I think I would do okay.
I would not do very well. As you guys, if you guys watch, you know how I'm always moving things around?
Yes.
Or I'm just always
You're
like,
busy.
I'm just like, just can't sit still no matter what. I don't know why. Just can't do it. I'm always moving, even at home.
Maybe we should have a contest after the show.
Or
do that.
Or throughout the entire show. That's,
No, we don't want to do that.
That's
We
gonna be
don't want to do
entertaining.
that.
That's entertaining TV right there, just staring at the screen saying nothing.
We're okay. Your screen's not frozen. Okay, we're going to zone out for a couple of minutes. We'll be right back.
I'm the champion of the ball.